Oh my god. Oh my god. I wanted to celebrate my 3-year milestone with SuperMemo, which by the way, I'm late. I'm 3 weeks late. This first denotes that I'm more used to the incrementalism path. And it also, oh my god, because I just finished what I thought I was recording the video. I have been talking for almost half an hour, and then I realized I was not recording. So this actually shows that now I shoot less videos, that I'm less used to the software, and I haven't realized I was not recording. So welcome, incremental greetings. By the way, oh my god, how I haven't started the video like that. Okay, so this video will be a lot more chaotic than I thought, even though I kind of rehearsed what to say because I actually wanted to shut. So I will have different chapters. So if you think you don't get any value, feel free to move on to the next chapter. So let's start. Is that even if I compare with the second year milestone, I still use less features than before. And you may think, isn't that the opposite of what you will expect that a pro user, I don't like that word, veteran user, will use more features, more advanced, like arcane features of SuperMemo? The opposite is true. Why? For many reasons. One, I use other software for different purposes. For instance, language learning, I no longer use SuperMemo. Yes, if you really stretch it, because for my incremental reading collection, I came across definitions, concepts, and so on that I want to recall. So I create the flashcards there in my incremental reading collection, even though it's what is the name of a technique, because I want to remember that name of a theory, and I leave it there. There's no need for me to create all of the language learning cards in the same place. As long as it is in my brain, good enough. And that's and many other details that perhaps how it's implemented in SuperMemo. At the long run, I can say in the long run, after more than a year of using this feature, it doesn't compensate. So I sacrifice the scheduler for the modern features, and I still get more benefit. Your mileage may vary. At least it's something that is not just with a weekend. You need like a year or a couple of years to see that is okay. I will move on, do this and do that. I still use SuperMemo, obviously. Then, that's a great visual analogy. It's like in SuperMemo, you have an ocean of features, a ridiculously amount of features. Most of them arcane, really deep down into water, right? That most people will not even know their existence or the purpose. Yeah, I know this exists, but when I'm going to use that feature. But you hyper-focus in one subset, let's say, that, okay, like in the circle, this is what I'm going to use, like the portal. And everything else, all of other features become just landscape, become decoration in my user interface. I'm not going to use those ever. I know their existence. I acknowledge their existence. I have used them. And because of that reason, I don't want to use them. Because I don't need them, or I don't like how are implemented. As easy as that. And that could be also true next year, that I still use less and less features. So it will be more the bare bones of incremental reading, because I will be using other solutions, basically. Next is that recently I have taken a long hiatus. I will do a very extensive video on that topic, but I want to mention the overview. I think there are 3 ways you can stop using SuperMemo without moving on, so you don't give up using SuperMemo. And ironically, I had 3 of them back to back. So that's why I did a massive hiatus of 5 weeks or so. Let me actually show that to you. That's a backup. The day of the recording is September 2nd. Just one day in July and a few days in August. That's it. How is that possible? You may think, wow, I will expect that you were always doing repetitions on the hundreds and so on. Many reasons. First, I did a big change in my lifestyle that I was doing some tasks that were more time consuming. It was exercise, but exercising for real and for fun. So not because of having those health effects, but because I was enjoying the process. And July is, I think, at least where I live, the best month because you get sunlight for 18 hours. You can do a lot of outdoor activities. So what happened that I was exchanging time I will have spent it using incremental reading for exercising outdoors or in the pool and so on. Then I went into vacation, a 3 weeks and a half vacation to the Dominican Republic, and I haven't used the computer, no laptop, and the phone was on the minimums because I had the SIM card. So I think I have used it at least online for 2 hours in a month. So the minimum, what was actually necessary. And just after coming back at home, I think it was the 12th or so, because of the time change, I think it was already legally the 13th. As you can see, I wanted to start back with SuperMemo, but I didn't do much. That's because one of the gifts from the trip was a virus. So I, among other things, I had a massive headache for several days. So I just couldn't, it was not worth. So it's okay, just let's wait until I feel healthy. By the way, I have one video on that topic, why I recommend not to use SuperMemo while you're sick, unless you have deadlines in the school system. So more or less that happened. So overall, the idea, the take-home message is that, well, now I have proof that I'm not addicted to incremental reading or SuperMemo, that, I need my daily dose. Okay, I can miss one day here and there, but not more than a month of it, right? So good to know I'm not addicted. And yeah, I miss it that, okay, the learning process is not there, it's not efficient. And it's the longest hiatus ever since I started using SuperMemo. Another thing that I want to share with you is that recently I made like one ironic realization. You know, one of the slogans of SuperMemo is forget about forgetting and make memory a choice. The other day, I think it was last week or the start of this week, I had one tutoring session with someone who had a very specific goal and kind of short term. And long story short, what I think he could do best was resetting his resetting the optimum interval, like this collection. Since it's just for the slides, I have no items, there are no repetitions, that's a default. 3. Is okay, let's reset this value, right, to 3. Is, oh shoot, how this was done. I actually forgot. What I thought it was this, statistics, reset parameters. Turns out it's none of them. You have to go to for the plots and so on. This is something that, oh wow, I cannot know that in the spot. No worries. I can do this incrementally post session. This is kind of in my theme, right? You will think, oh wow, I tried almost everything in SuperMemo. I have experimenting for a very, very long. And most of that is on record as well. 240 something public videos. Yeah, there are some details that since I don't use that, and usually the tutorials don't have the need for that, I don't memorize that. I don't create items to recall these pieces of information. So what happens after 2 years or 3 years that blank? I know it's possible to reset it, but I actually forgot how to do it. And on top of that, I even forgot what it was, but it happened in the past. But I forgot how to do it, but I remember I actually did it. I have a video in my channel about that. The specific topic is about this. So I had to search for my own video and watch my own video. Oh yeah, it was this. Oh yeah, it was that. It's, oh my god. It's like blank. like the 0 rating that is not even in the interface, blank out. I don't recall anything. And while I was watching is, what? I edited this video as well. I don't remember any of this. The flow, not just a specific menu, click here, click there. Is wow. And I got the answer, and what happened? That I have forgotten what it is again. So, oh my god. That really makes memory a choice. So what I don't decide to remember, you can notice it. This is one example within SuperMemo itself. There are more personal examples, which sometimes I get into trouble. Let's say that this family member thinks I have a very good memory. Well, because I use spaced repetition, incremental breathing, and so on. But what happens that some details are absolutely missed. So perhaps, oh yeah, let's do this other day, or the birthday, or whatever. And I completely forgot. Not the birthday, but that is an example to convey the idea. But oh yeah, let's do, I'm not going to discuss anything personal. Oh yeah, let's do this, this day. This day comes, I get a message. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. How is that possible? That's not a stretch, it's a hypothesis. But I think for the longer you use incremental reading and choose what to remember, what to schedule, and what is not even there, this changes the plasticity in the brain. And then this affects your daily life. Some details that perhaps, we forget most of it anyways, but oh shoot. Now what happens that I don't trust my memory. The longer I use SuperMemo, the less I trust my memory. So now it's like, okay, if that is important for the other person, take note, or schedule, or it's prone to be forgotten. This is getting more obvious as the time passes. Even though we could say my memory increases, I can recall more. My knowledge retention is higher. My knowledge in size is larger. That makes, it's no protection for forgetting. So just this observation, if I compare with 2 years ago, the previous milestone, I think it's a significant, it happens more frequently with someone else that, oh shoot, sorry, I completely forgot about that. Let's see one example with my girlfriend. Oh yeah, I don't know, something has run out. I don't know, the tomato sauce of the toilet paper, whatever. Oh yeah, no worries. I will go to the convenience store and get the toilet paper. I'm doing my stuff, It's nighttime, she comes back at home. Hey, did you get the toilet paper? Shoot, I didn't remember that. But what happens that she has a very hard time believing me because, oh come on, you have a pretty good memory, right? And all of this and all of that. How come you don't remember this? It's like you purposely, quote unquote, purposely forgot that. It's how convenient it is that something, usually what you forget is what you don't like or what you don't particularly enjoy doing, let's say. And it's, well, more or less that is true. It is selective memory, but it's because I make memory a choice. So I rely on SuperMemo and, let's say, a scheduler, not just that also applies to other apps. But now when I don't do it and I rely on my raw memory, gone. So someone has to remind me, and oh wow, I can't believe, now that you say it, yes, I recall it, but I'm pretty sure I will have not recalled that with this passive recall, with this reminder. So I think if I compare to the previous milestone of 2 years of SuperMemo, this is happening more often. That, oh shoot, I forgot this. Oh shoot, I forgot that. Even if it's a silly thing, that, oh yeah, well, I will do this task, not now, but in 2 hours or whatever. Perhaps I'm working, I will do it later, and this later doesn't come because I have forgotten. So I know Piotr is like this, that some details, and sometimes look, I'm resending you an email from 6 months ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever, that not just me, that you said. So those are your words, not mine. And he completely forgot about that. So it's quite fascinating, the plasticity of the mind. So I think that will be more or less my hypothesis, that the longer you use incremental reading and those techniques, and your brain adjusts to this system, is adjusting, and the brain adjusts to this method, there's a trade-off. And this trade-off is becoming more obvious as time passes. And one of the other things is actually my native language, Catalan and Spanish, but at home and in the school, most of the time was just Catalan. So what happens now that I only speak Catalan with my parents, my brother, and a few friends, that I don't speak that frequently. So I'm losing the language. Now it's been like a decade like this, that I'm not in the school, into the university. So I have almost no exposure. Even if I live in the same city, different neighborhood, same city, I'm losing the language, the proficiency. Because everything I do is in English for many years now. But this is on purpose. I know the time is limited, my knowledge, the volume of my knowledge is limited. I don't want my native language. And I don't even want Spanish as well. Even if that may sound like, what is this guy saying? Because I prefer English. I work in English for many years. I think from 2019, my work is in English. Perhaps then I have tutorees here and there that are Spaniards, but that is 0.2% of my work. And all of my hobbies are in English, unless it's learning a language, like in my case, Asian languages. So I'm pretty convinced of this theory that you make memory a choice. It's not a slogan that, oh yeah, it sounds super cool. It's actually an statement. So next point I want to share about SuperMemo, 3-year milestone, is the stats. There's nothing new to compare, to contrast with the previous milestone. It's more of the same, because now it's very homogeneous. See, the only thing that is worth mentioning is just that the knowledge tree is getting bigger and bigger because I'm reading more and doing more repetitions on the same topics, more iterations. And that's the analogy, that everything is like a black box with the light inside. But once you see the light, there's nothing new to see. You have seen everything. I mean, unless I change how I use SuperMemo, there's no use for me to look at the stats. It's either descriptive, or you have that many topics, that many items, that many repetitions, that, okay, it's just descripting what I did. And then about performance, it's been, since the last year, the only difference is in the decimal or even in the second decimal point. Retention rate, there's nothing meaningful. So I don't even check the stats, to be honest. So only when I read in the wiki page about some technical definitions of the factor or things like that, how it is measured, okay, let me check my elements, my items, if this is congruent of what I did and so on. Okay, makes sense. Or when someone asks me, or for the sake of tutoring sessions, I really don't care about the stats. I think I'm in a state now, in 3 years, that there are no more insights possible unless I do some meaningful changes in my workflow. Next, you may be surprised with my image choice here with Piotr Wozniak. You know, he's like a genius, like a musician. And why the analogy with the ice cream? That's more or less my take. Here I will be hard to convey my message because I have to encapsulate a lot of information for his privacy. But long story short, across the time, it's been 3 years now. And wow, I can tell that my SuperMemo usage or my relation with SuperMemo, it will be much different if I haven't had direct contact with Piotr. I know I have one video about getting to know Piotr, which I kinda dislike now today, because I realized that I move on off topic like in the second minute, and I talk about the interface and so on. So I'm surprised. I would have never thought of this when using SuperMemo for the first time when I was recording. Which, by the way, that was like July and August, and I waited until December the same year, so about half a year, more or less, to contact him for the first time. I have like one analogy. For a very long time, many years, I was using YouTube, but I was never commenting. I never sent a comment, even if I was anonymous. It was about the attitude, not about the privacy concerns and so on. Until one day, even though I comment very little, honestly, based on the amount of videos I watch. And this happened the same. So imagine if I use SuperMemo, and if I kept using SuperMemo, I kept doing this channel, running this channel, without getting in contact with Piotr Wozniak, it would have been not the same experience. Yeah. And as a side note, I feel privileged. I have privileged access to some information of SuperMemo, his private life, of Piotr's. Yeah, I cannot share any of that, but just to let you know that for me this is really important. I cannot separate him with SuperMemo, the software. So the software and philosophy, it's like mingled together, mixed. So this is a big pro for me. And among other things, one of privileges, let's say, is that I'm a beta tester for SuperMemo 19, which I cannot disclose anything publicly. Just to let you know, you don't have to worry about one of the main concerns for SM18. Don't ask me what this is going to be released. I don't know. For here is that, let's say that I feel like a hacker or like a pro user, but that I'm trying something new, a new version yet to be released. And at the same time, it's like if I'm using a software that it's 2 decades old, right? It's the same interface, the same menus, and the design and so on. It's like retro futuristic. It feels new, and at the same time, it feels super old at the same time. I cannot share anything. It's just my perspective overall. I cannot share any specific feature and so on for now. Next, that goes more in line in my take with SuperMemo channel, Pleasure Learning SuperMemo. A new era is coming. I wanted to share this with you for the milestone of the 3 years, not just for my collection, but for the channel, which has also passed, by the way, some weeks ago. I cannot make it public yet. It's not done yet. It's, incrementalism is what it has. But yeah, let's say that my intentions will come to fruition. Let's see if I can help more people learn more in the process, and it will transcend YouTube, by the way. And yeah, I know some points that were not here, but just popped out during the recording is, oh man, I missed that. Shooting the videos. Putting on the chroma key, you won't see it, but it's what makes that background invisible. Just there in a room getting dusty is, oh my god, I really missed doing all of those videos. Yeah. And on top of that, I also wanted to express that some people send messages that, hey, is everything good? That it's been quite long that you don't make videos. Yes, I'm alive. No worries about that. But it's good to know that at least very few people, but at least there's someone who was getting a lot of value from my videos. because you know what changed is that is the priority, because the time involvement is very high, and the output, I mean, the how many people watch the video doesn't increase, and a lot of people move on from the video. So the amount of views is not the same of the amount of people I have helped. So that was going super marginal. So I wanted to invest my time with other things. But I think this is going to change in the new era that is coming. By the way, perhaps it will be winter to make the pan. Perhaps it will be a different season of the year. I don't want to make this video any longer. Keep in mind, I will expand on the hiatus, the pros and cons, how to do when you come back after 1 month with SuperMemo, because a lot of testing in queue will have piled up and so on. So no worries, the channel is not dead, it's just more incremental. Nothing else than that. Yeah, I actually forgot. One of the things that I realized as well is this t-shirt. For me, I have a very strong association with this t-shirt. That for me is my SuperMemo t-shirt, or at the very least, my pleasure learning SuperMemo t-shirt. Because most of the videos I shot was with this t-shirt. And recently, during the hiatus, by the way, so I went in vacation for 3 weeks and something, and I haven't used this t-shirt. So that was left at home, and once I came back, I don't know, one random day, that, oh yeah, I'm ill, so going to that topic, I was ill, so I was not doing SuperMemo or using the computer much of the day. And I saw this t-shirt, and wow, it triggers all of the memories when I was recording, learning while recording, learning while editing the recordings, or getting the skills of editing the videos as well. I have improved those skills. And it's been 3 years, but for me, it results that it is long enough to feel nostalgic. So it feels like long enough that, oh yeah, back in the day when I was doing, like, it's not the current state anymore. So I'm surprised that I have this deep nostalgic feeling so soon. It's been just 3 years. There are many things that in 3 years, it's impossible to call it nostalgic. Yeah. So I will be wearing this more often, unless I don't get official merch. I will be using this t-shirt from now on, most of the time, unless it's not clean or whatever. Yeah. I don't want to stop talking. It's a weird feeling. More videos coming soon. See you incrementally.